Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. Getty images for the Laver Cup. Roger Federer revealed he was stood up by world no. 1 Novak Djokovic over the controversial decision to axe ATP Tour boss Chris Kermode. The war that has been playing out in the backroom of men's tennis, and was brought into the spotlight at the Australian Open in January, came to a messy ending Friday, when it was announced Kermode would not be extending his 6-year term at the helm. The Players' Council, led by Novak Djokovic, voted Kermode out, and while Djokovic has refused to confirm publicly whether he spearheaded the charge to get rid of the ATP leader, reports have widely claimed the Serb was the driving force behind the change. In his first public media opportunity at Indian Wells, Federer refused to discuss Djokovic's role specifically, but piled pressure on the council as a whole to explain the decision to slash the tour's chief executive. Speaking after his win over Peter Gojowczyk at the tournament, Federer took his thinly veiled criticism of the council and Djokovic a step further when he revealed the Serbian star balked on a meeting with the Swiss ace in the lead-up to Kermode's sacking in a bombshell player of old. Federer even suggested in his Swiss press conference that he may consider returning to the governance side of the ATP Tour because he is concerned by recent developments. Former ATP leader Chris Kermode with Novak Djokovic. Getty images. One of his biggest concerns is that Djokovic and the rest of the council have not communicated why they decided to swing the axe. Despite both players arriving at Indian Wells before the weekend, they still have not met up. "I tried to meet Novak on the deadline, before the meeting," Federer said. "Unfortunately he had no time. That's hard to understand for me. He certainly had a lot to do with the whole story. I asked him if he had time to meet me, it was so busy. He suggested that we see each other the day after, but everything was already decided. We have not met yet and the tournament has started." He said he and Rafael Nadal are concerned that the council hasn't publicly defended the decision to look for a new tour boss. "It's just important that I know why it happened, and what should happen now," Federer said. "I want to know what the motive was. What it is Kermode does not seem to have done well. I would have tended to be more for him. In the past, there were always situations in which one had to say, he or she just has to go, but that was not the case with Kermode. Only politics is in turmoil. I also talked to Rafa. We are on the same page, that's important to him and me." Many were behind Kermode. Not all have the same priorities. Some think primarily of money, others of the tournament calendar, others are more concerned with power. That's always a big story. I still have the feeling the tour is going well, we have great matches, the prize money went up, the stadiums are full. Federer stepped down as the ATP Tour Council president in 2014, but he suggested he may look to make a comeback over how Kermode's sacking has been handled. Rafael Nadal is on Federer's side. Icon Sportswire via Getty Images. "It is hard for me to express a clear opinion because I am no longer politically active," Federer said. "I'm already interested in what's behind it, why it happened like that. I have to think about whether I should get more involved again in the future, for the sake of the tour. Or if I should just get involved a bit instead of going through politics." Some stars like Players' Council member Vasek Pospisil wanted Kermode gone, but others such as Stan Wawrinka and Nadal were firmly against the change in leadership because they believed men's tennis has been booming in recent years. In public, Federer had previously stayed out of the debate and distanced himself from any talk about pushing for Kermode's removal. Federer also said he's worried those leading the sport don't have a clear idea of where they want to go or how they plan to get there. "I'm not quite sure, to be honest," Federer told journalists Leif Shears and John Wertheim on the Tennis Channel when asked what the future of tennis looks like. "We're in a very interesting time where we need to have a clear plan and I'm not sure what the plan is. That's the big thing I worry about. I do believe we have unbelievable players, great matches, new guys coming through, stadiums are full, prize money has gone up. Everything's great, it seems like." From that standpoint everything's actually great, and then you talk about politics and you're like, oh my god, what's going on here? We need to really figure it out, and I'd like to feel the pulse a little bit about where we're about to go, because clearly we're going to need to decide who the new CEO for the ATP is going to be, or the political side of the game has got to do that. Nadal has been a vocal critic of those demanding a leadership change at the ATP, saying just last week Kermode had done a good job and deserved to stay on. He also warned any drastic changes could derail the path tennis is on and risk future prosperity and growth. Nadal raised those concerns after earlier complaining at the Australian Open nobody from the Players' Council had even bothered to reach out to him and ask for his thoughts on Kermode or the state of the sport. The Spaniard's pleas clearly fell on deaf ears, but he's found a willing ally in Federer, who said the pair shared coffee at his house soon after Kermode was dumped to digest the political upheaval and discuss what lay ahead. Federer said he and Nadal were on the same page when it came to wanting more clarity. "What I am happy about is we're aligned and we agree that we should be talking and coming up with a proper plan," Federer said of their meeting. "I'd like to hear that from the council and some more players and people just to get an idea what's really going on, to be quite honest.